What's up, guys? It's Wero. We are back for another episode of Locked In, and today we got Fierce Honey locked in. So let's bring her out. You are muted. There we
go.
What's
Hey
up,
guys,
buddy?
what's up?
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Happy to have you on. I know we've had some scheduling issues for a hot minute, but I think we got them under control. So we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
That's what children will do to you.
Trust me, you are preaching to the choir. So let's jump right into it. Fierce Honey, where were you born?
I was born in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Yeah, I can tell by the way you just said Virginia. Born in Virginia. That's where I was born. I was born in Virginia too. I was born in Newport News.
Nice.
Yeah. So where'd you grow up at?
I grew up more of the Bridgewater area. That's kind of where my mom moved. So I went to John Wayland Elementary. So that was pretty cool. Honestly, learned a lot from my mom in those times because she didn't have a lot of things. So of course, Bridgewater, it's kind of a nice place to grow up. It's a pretty nice area.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
You said you went to school. Where'd you go to school at?
John Wayland Elementary was where I started in school.
Elementary school. Yeah. Okay. Did you go into the same area for high school, or was it just?
No, actually, I've been a lot of places. So my mom moved a lot as I was growing up. So I went to. Have you ever heard of Grottoes, Virginia? Very small area. South River was where I went for also. I think it's an elementary school, but then I also moved to. I guess Port Republic area. So then I went to Spotswood, and I also went to East Rockingham. So,
What are the big cities in that area? Like, just to give us an idea of where that's in there.
I'd say like Harrisonburg is one of them. Elkton is, I guess Elkton's not that big. They're all pretty small areas.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say Elkton's probably the biggest one, along with Harrisonburg is probably the two biggest.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of hobbies did you have growing up?
I was a softball player, actually. I played softball pretty much from when I was, 5 years old until high school. So it's pretty awesome.
Okay. What position did you play?
I was second base or outfield. So that was pretty nice. Sometimes I played center, but that wasn't always.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a pretty hard position.
Yeah, it's tough. That's you got to have an arm for that position.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say I have a pretty good arm from playing softball, probably.
Yeah. And now you use it to punch people.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a pretty nice
translates.
Weapon.
Yeah, it translates. So when did you first get into martial arts? Were you younger?
No, actually, it was about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, that's when I first started actually pursuing it. And decided to get in the cage, but I was kind of into martial arts fighting since I was a child because of my dad.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Were your parents together when you grew up? Like, did you guys grow up together?
They grew up. Well, I grew up basically with my parents until I was probably about 1 or 2, and then they got divorced.
So the majority of your time, you had split households. Do you need to check on a baby?
No, she's in bed currently. I promise she's fine. She is yelling for me mostly because she's probably about to tell me she needs something she doesn't actually need.
Gotcha. Yeah, I totally get that. My son's in bed too. He's like 16, but it's only 6 o'clock here. He's passed out.
Aw.
Tough life for him.
Man, yeah, she probably won't be out for the next maybe hour. We'll see.
Yeah. How old is she? How old is your daughter?
She's 3.
3.
Yeah.
So is she punching and kicking stuff yet?
Well, the thing is, she is misbehaving in daycare. She's gotten some complaints from teachers saying that she hit or kicked someone. Like, I don't know where she saw that.
She's getting that from.
Yeah, because she doesn't watch much of my stuff. She's seen maybe one of my fights I showed her. She was like, I was watching and she just crept up on me. I was like, yeah, that's mommy.
That's cool. I love showing my kids my fights. Well, the good ones anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So let's back up just a little bit. Fresh out of, let's say, high school. Fresh out of high school. You're not into martial arts yet. What did you do? Where did you go? What kind of work did you get into?
Fresh out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't know what I wanted to do, honestly. I came out of high school. I wanted to go to Blue Ridge, kind of see, what field I wanted to go into and maybe transfer to JMU. That was the goal. But I had a few obstacles that fell in front of me before I got to do that. I had enrolled in Blue Ridge, and then I was with the wrong crowd and got a DUI. So that was around like 17, 18. So that kind of like halted
that early,
my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, how are the DUIs out there? Like, so Arizona, I'm in Arizona. We're very, very strict. How does Virginia stack up? Like, how bad was the damage? How hard did they get you?
I think the damage wasn't too bad. I've heard I got off pretty easy just because, I obviously couldn't be held in jail because I was underage.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't really have to do anything but probation and ASAP. But I did lose my license for a good few years, which kind of kept me from being able to drive anywhere or do anything that I wanted to do. Because at the time, my grandmother, who I was living with, said that, she wasn't going to help me because I had to deal with the consequences. So yeah, it wasn't bad.
Would you say at 16, 17 years old, was drinking a situation for you, or was it just you just went out and got drunk and then got caught?
I'd say it wasn't a situation. It was more of like I was like a little partier, and that's kind of just, I feel like Virginia welcomes a lot of that, more like Harrisonburg, Virginia, because of JMU. Yeah. So there's so many parties, and if you're with the wrong people, you're just gonna fall right into that,
Yeah. Okay.
So that was kind of like what happened there, just a lot of little parties and wanted to hang out with that crowd. And then, that just happened. So it was kind of like a learning lesson of who and, what to do and who to hang out with.
No, it's a lesson learned for sure. So once that DUI clears, like once that whole situation ends, what did you start doing after that?
Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Kids, use condoms, everybody. Use condoms. That way you can finish your interviews in peace.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
What were you saying?
I was telling everybody to use condoms so you can finish your interviews in peace.
I agree.
Yep. So, after you get your DUI and everything, you're moving right along with life. What did you start doing? Like, what kind of work did you go into?
I got my hair license, so cosmetology, through high school. And so I went into working at what they call the studio in Harrisonburg. It's a pretty nice, hair salon. It also has like nails, stuff like that. So I had everything that I went to schooling for. And I was there, I'd say, for about 6 months. So it wasn't too long. I just kind of got a feel of what I wanted to do, and it definitely wasn't that.
Yeah.
I didn't like doing hair at all once I got into the field.
Okay. Why was that? You just wasn't your thing?
It was more of like the, and no offense to hairstylists, they do their thing, and I respect them totally because it is a hard career.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for me. It wasn't my style or who I am. I'm very like tomboyish. I can be girly, but I'm more on the tomboyish side of things, and it just wasn't my style, honestly. I think I grew out of that as I got older.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So did you settle into some sort of career? Did you end up finding something that you truly enjoyed and stuck with?
I'd say not really until about, say, 20 years old. I was working in the food industry a lot. Like I served different things like that. So that was my main thing I stuck to until about, I'd say, 21 or so. And I got into phlebotomy. I did that for a couple years.
Phlebotomy. It's drawing blood, right? That's drawing blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's taking care of people, drawing blood, different things
Yeah.
like that. So it's a pretty awesome field. I really enjoyed that. I
And
still honestly would do it today.
so you don't do that anymore. How long did you do that for?
I'd say about 3 to 4
3
years.
to 4 years? You just
Yeah.
jamming needles in people?
Pretty much.
That's cool. Do you ever have anybody whose vein you just couldn't fucking find?
There was a few people, and sometimes I would get them perfectly, and then sometimes they would come in and I would just not even like hit it at all. It was so hard some days just because people had what they call rolling veins.
Yeah.
So you go to stick in, it like rolls. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people. My veins basically just sit right on top of my arm. I'm pretty easy to hit. You throw a dart at me and hit a vein.
Man, well, you would have been the perfect person.
Yeah, sometimes. So you are, how old are you right now?
I'm actually 25.
25. You are so young. Like, yeah, that's very young.
I don't feel young these days.
Yeah. It's all that training. That's why I don't train. Fucking hurts. So you're 21, 22. So just a few years ago, you are married or you were married?
I'm actually not married. I have never been married.
Never been married. Okay.
No.
So, all right. I see Free Smokes in the building. So I'm sure we got about 8 minutes before he falls in love with you.
Oh man. I have no clue who that is, but cool.
She doesn't know who you are, Free Smoke.
You can go.
That's
good.
That's funny. So, yeah, no, I'm just old. He has a good question though. He wants to know who your inspiration was for getting into fighting. And we're working our way to that, but let's definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I see people are joining now, so the chat's about to pop off. Yep. Sunshine, that's my dude right there. So let's say you are 25 right now. This is just a few years ago. You said you got into martial arts about 2 years ago. Your daughter's 3 years old. So, and you're not married. You never were married. How'd that come about? Not specifically how'd it come about. We all know how it came about, but like
we all know how that part goes.
Yeah, you don't have to get into detail on that.
Basically, I was with her father for 7 years. We recently split up, but during that time period, of course, I was, in between here and Colorado because that's my other home away from home kind of thing. I have family there, but anyways, I moved back and I did calculate the conceiving day. It was the exact day I moved back from Colorado. So it was kind of like a thing of, we think it was like a meant to be thing because Camille's such a blessing in our lives, and we weren't planning to have children, so it was a lot to take in.
I can imagine. So
yeah.
Were you doing phlebotomy at the time you found out you were pregnant?
No, I actually got into that soon after having Camille.
Okay. And Camille, your daughter's name, I'm assuming?
Yes.
That's a cool name. I like that. So
thank you.
So you have your daughter, and then she's what, a year old when you first start deciding to train in martial arts?
I'd say about a year and a half years old, maybe 2 at that point. I'm not really sure, but yeah, about that.
Okay. And how old, I can't remember if you said this or not, you and the father split up around, how old was she?
It actually wasn't long ago. It was only, I'd say 4 months ago.
Okay, so that's recent. All right.
Yeah.
So when you first decided to train in martial arts, how did that come about? Like, Free Smoke asked who inspired you. I'd like to know what inspired you. What made you go from being a phlebotomist, having a child, and then going, you know what? I'm gonna punch people in the face. Walk us through that.
It's kind of a weird thing, honestly. I've always watched UFC. One of my favorite fighters is the Stylebender. I really loved growing up watching Chuck Liddell. On Ultimate Fighter. He was one of my favorites, you know,
Yeah, I
especially
love Chuck.
my dad as well. So
Yeah.
I think the inspiration was just, you know, me and my boyfriend loved watching the UFC, you know, main events and all kinds of fights all the time. And I was like, man, like, I would love to do that. I think that's something I would love to try. So that's kind of how it started was, you know, one day it just sparked in my head, like, I'm really strong, you know, I'm very athletic and I would enjoy fighting because I've been looking for something that, you know, sparks that in me, that fire inside of me. So that's when I discovered Streetbeefs. I know you've heard of Esteban, Lord Esteban or whatever.
Yeah.
So through him, I knew him in high school. So through him, I found out
Oh.
Streetbeefs. Yeah.
So I got it. How did that work? Like, did you find out about Street Beefs, or were you just chatting with him one time and he told you about Street Beefs? How'd that go?
It was more like through social media. I saw,
Hmm.
you know, posts and stuff from him, and I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, like, I
Gotcha.
wonder if I can do this. So then I contacted him, got set up with an event, and then made my first appearance in the art.
Okay. And Sunshine says right here that she remembers your first sign up. So who did you contact and how did you get that going? And did you train before your first fight? Did you do any training or anything like that?
Well, so who I contacted, I can't remember the pinpoints, but I'm pretty sure it might have been Sunshine,
Hmm.
possibly.
Yeah.
Because I think I got in with the page. And sorry, I think my daughter is now doing stuff with some music. So if you hear something, sorry.
Yeah.
But it all started, I think, with Sunshine and the Streetbeefs page. So I was able to, you know, sign up, find out where the event was, and then show up and fight.
Okay. So who was your first opponent?
The Lioness was my first opponent.
Lioness.
You know, and I won't lie, I was pretty terrified.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know how it was gonna go.
were you training before you showed up for that fight? Did you find a gym and start training, or?
No, actually, cause my ex,
Mhm.
you know, boyfriend at the time, he had done mixed martial arts before. His dad had trained, and he had also trained.
Yeah.
And so he basically taught me the basics. You know, he told
Okay.
me the 1-2. Um, he
Yeah.
said to get full mount and kind of like trained me on those basics in our
Okay.
living room on the ground, literally, like standing on the ground, just prepared me for what I might be able to do. And that's what I tried to do in that fight.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It was
So
pretty cool.
yeah, what so once you had you first fight was Linus. Walk us through that, the nerves, and walk us through the fight.
So I'm going to have to pause. Give me a few seconds. Sorry.
Hmm. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, so I don't know what to talk about with let's see, what we got. Let's see. That I can agree with. We need more female fighters. I think that's super dope. Uh Big Smile's wife. Is that the Lioness that who her first fight was against? That's kind of dope. Yeah. Um, yeah, while she's gone. I have Demon Monsoon scheduled for the 20th, and then I got Bricks coming in. He's on schedule. Taking a little bit of a break while we're working some things out with this next event.
Oh, so much fun being a parent, guys. This is my
It,
life.
yeah, it does get easier. My kids are like 16 and 13. It really gets a little easier.
I hope so. It's a struggle.
It does. Like my biggest, most favorite milestone with my kids was when I could go get in the car and they just climb the fuck in.
Oh,
It's I'm
that
telling
sounds
you, like
perfect.
if you're a parent right now with a kid younger than like 4, you'll understand exactly what I mean. It's carrying them around, putting them in the car, buckling them in. It's a pain in the dick. So it really fucking is. Yeah.
I feel that. I forget what you last
Yeah,
asked
let's
me. I
not.
think it was about something about Lioness.
Yeah. Oh, so I was saying walk us through all that fight right there. So the nerves especially, because that's one of my favorite questions. I want to know how you feel before your fights, how you feel before that fight, the first one, and as many as you can remember.
I'd say I felt the exact same before every fight, which is kind of crazy. I always feel super nervous, like very nervous, to the point where I'm thinking of every single aspect, everything that I want to do, like what they're going to do to me and the pain I'm going to endure, like, preparing myself for everything.
Yeah.
I don't allow myself to really mentally chill before a fight because I'm just running over everything in my head. And I'm hoping and praying that it gets easier, but it may not because I have anxiety anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that will go in the future. Maybe I'll get used to it.
Maybe. I mean, I hear some people do. Like, I hear some people truly, they just get comfortable in that 30, 45 minutes before the fight happens, and it doesn't bother them. I'm not one of those people. My brain's running a mile a minute. And I mean, I'm what, 12, 13 fights deep now, and it still happens. Like, I don't think it, once the cage locks, it goes away. But
Yeah.
up until that point, yeah. So you fight Lioness. How many rounds? Walk us through that fight. Did you win?
Yes. I think it was TKO in the first round.
TKO in the first. Okay.
So
Punches?
it's pretty awesome. It was basically I got my 1-2 down. I'd say a few minutes in. She came in real quick. So I was like, didn't even give me a second to breathe. It was like start, and she came in, just punching me.
Yeah.
And so I just started off with my 1-2, threw a jab and a straight, and then I just got a hold of her and cowboyed her. So it basically just hip tossed.
Yeah.
And tried to get that full mount. I more of got a half, and just started kind of going in with punches to her face, and she definitely didn't like that.
No.
She just covered up, and that was kind of it. It was over at that point.
Okay. What weight class? What weight class do you fight at?
I think I was probably at that point in the 150s, because that was kind of like where I was sitting before I toned down.
Yeah. Okay. 150.
So yeah, it was they don't really have like the weight class, but I'd say it was probably around there. She might have been a little lighter than me because I know that she was taller but skinnier.
And easy to throw, apparently.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. So, okay, so you had that fight. After that, did you join the gym? Because
after that, yes.
Yes. Okay. So there was a comment. Let me scroll back. Here's the comment right here. How long you been training with Lee and James?
Well, I'd say for about maybe a year. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years since I've been doing MMA. So about a year I've been with Lee and James. I'd say I trained with Streetbeefs first, and I'm still training with them all the time. But just, I started going to the gym with them, getting in boxing rounds, and just trying to like stick with them and get in my boxing pretty much. And that's when, as a phlebotomy, you talk with so many people, you make relationships with all kinds of people. And that's when I had a phlebotomist. He actually told me about Lee. He said he worked with him and that I should contact him. And so that's when I looked him up on Facebook, messaged him, and started going to his trainings as well.
Does he have a gym? Is it a full gym?
He has a gym now. It's Mastering MMA in Bridgewater. It's with the Shenandoah Valley Wrestling Club. Okay. So I travel out there. It's basically 2 gyms in one. So we kind of just split up the time that we're in there. He didn't used to, though. That's the crazy thing. And I think a lot of the other fighters as well, or people that train with him, a lot of my teammates, they miss what we had before because he just had it at his house in a big barn building when he put up like all the siding on the walls, and it was kind of like a small, legit little gym, but just out in the country.
Get a little more one-on-one training with those smaller gyms.
Yeah, and it was like, fitness was outside with big tires and all kinds of crazy stuff, but it was hard work.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of those smaller gyms. You work a lot harder than you do in those bigger gyms because they get that one-on-one training. They can force you.
It was crazy. Yeah, I do miss that time, but I'm in love with the new gym we have. It's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
nice, nice. So, how many fights do you have with Street Beefs?
I think at this point I have, so there's minus 4.
4. Okay, who was
Yes.
and real quick, I keep forgetting to ask this. Where does your fight name come from?
Um, that's probably the funniest question I always get because it's not
Mhm.
anything intricate.
Yeah.
It's literally I remember the first day, like it was yesterday, I showed up to that yard and went to weigh in, and they were like, the girl standing there, she was like, "What's your fight name?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"Fight name? I didn't know I had to have a fight name." Like, I was like, "Hold on, give me a few seconds." So I walk away, like, what can be a good fight name? Like, what could attract the crowd? And I was like, all right, so I guess I'm a babe, honey. And I was like, I'm also pretty, like, fierce, strong. So I was like, fierce honey. Okay, that's gonna have to be. So it was
Yeah.
like a snap of the fingers thing, and
You just
it
made that
seemed to
shit up on
click.
the spot, huh? That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. So, okay, and who's your second fight?
My
Because I
second fight was Deuce.
okay, that's what I thought. That's what I got here. So,
Yeah.
how did that one go? Walk us through
That
that
was
one.
actually one of my losses. That was kind of
Hmm.
like a huge staple in my fight. My amateur fighting was like,
Yeah.
you can't doubt anybody. Like anybody can have skill, and she was someone that just basically handed my ass to me and taught me I can't
Oh,
always win.
Deuce be handing a lot of people they asses though. Like she's an animal in that ring.
Oh, she is. It
Yeah,
was
she
a
really
great
is. She
fight.
ain't no fucking joke. Yeah,
Much respect for her.
and that was just boxing.
That
Yeah,
was
that was.
MMA actually, and
Oh, it was
she just had
MMA.
the upper hand because she was great at boxing.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, she had that huge staple of just great hands.
Yeah, she does. She's nice with those hands.
Yes.
Um, here's a good question. What is your workout and diet regime?
Okay. I'd say for my workout, I do stuff every week. So I also serve right now, so I can do
Mhm,
my fighting and training more. But I train usually today. I have what we call fight competition, which is a class where we go basically not 100%, but I say 80%. We go as if we're in a lot, it's like live rounds.
mhm.
So everybody that goes is, accepted into that class, has the skill for the class, and we go like, full speed, everything. We go to the ground, standing. So I do that every Tuesday. Wednesday, so tomorrow is a big day. I have morning with Streetbeefs, which is about 12 to 14 rounds of boxing and bag work from 12 to about say 2 o'clock, 2:30. We also do weightlifting, so anybody can join. So I lift weights. I work out about 3 to 4 days a week, lifting,
Mhm.
boxing, mixed martial arts, and we have fitness at Mastering MMA. So I run that class as well. So I get a lot of hard fitness and cardio in just to keep my weight and everything on track. I'd say diet. I don't really go too much into diet. I'd say the only time I really start dieting is when I have a fight coming up.
Yeah,
So during my training, I eat normal protein, chicken, beef, different things like that, rices, stuff that's healthy, but it's not as like, focused in on different things.
yeah,
Now, when I have a fight, I do try to stay away from carbs, which is right now I'm trying my best to just like have my protein shake, stick to lettuce wraps, stuff I don't
yeah,
really want, but I have to
yeah.
eat.
I feel you. I'm carbs are they're Satan. I can't. I just can't stop myself personally.
Yeah,
Um,
it's bad.
that's how I cut weight. Is I just cut my carbs and then portion control everything else. But fuck, it sucks. So I feel you.
Well, think of me. I work at Vito's Italian Kitchen. If anybody on here knows, it's a great Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I can't even imagine working at an Italian restaurant and not
Yeah,
being able to eat carbs. That doesn't track at all.
I know. I stick
Um,
to salads and chicken.
Yeah. So after Deuce whooped that ass, what did you what did you change up? What did you go? Okay, I need to focus in this area. Like, how, and were you training with Lee and James at the time?
Yes, actually. And they didn't really feel good about me taking that fight. It was kind of more of a me decision.
Yeah.
But I just kind of wanted to see where I stood. I was eager to fight and fight crazy, like wanted to like get in there kind of thing. I wasn't really playing it smart at this point like I am now because I wasn't trained. So, of course, I'd say after that, it didn't make me want to stop. That beating was like, okay, I want more kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, this must be for me.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, so it was great. I got home, I was banged up, but I woke up the next morning normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went into training and I really focused in on, I'd say, movement, head movement to be exact, because whenever she punched me, my head was straight on that line. So I was just getting decked,
Yeah, just eating them.
Like, I'm glad I can take a punch or I'd probably be knocked out. Like that was how bad that was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just head movement, angles, focusing in on my punches being straighter, learning when to throw them, countering, which I have really, really done well with that these days. So I've tried my best to really focus in on those things.
Yeah. What keeps you going? Like after a fight like that where you win your first fight, first round TKO, second fight, you don't, you get tuned up a little bit. What is your personal motivation for continuing to fight? How do you mentally keep yourself in there?
I'd say the number one thing is my child, because I know what I want to succeed in life. I know what I want my future to look like. I want to be a pro fighter. I want to be great. So that's the number one. Number two thing that has always been who I am is just a very strong person. I don't let anything deter me. I think what I went through as a child, what my life has consisted of, has made me really strong, like insanely strong. I don't think anything in my life has taken me down. Like, I've always came back up. I've always been mentally strong in a lot of things. So I think that was like the best thing, is just being mentally strong and telling myself, like, no, like, that's not going to take you down. That's not going to break you. You're going to keep going. So that's a huge thing, I think, in the fight world, is just being mentally strong.
It is. It is. You're not wrong. What if you want to share, what kind of battles have you had to fight?
I'd say growing up, my mother has been alcoholic. So I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with that, but it's truly a hard battle, for me, the children and the parent. So with alcoholism, of course, there's ups and downs all the time. For me personally, it was more of like, I had to take a lot of like beatings from my mom that were probably unnecessary, which is why I lived with my grandmother, throughout high school, because my mom was really down and would hit me and stuff like that. So I think that comes also in line with my fighting, and something I haven't shared yet is that really, it sounds crazy, but it made me stronger. It made me who I am. And it's sad that had to be the case, but it made me want to know how to defend myself, and kind of brought fighting into my life as like, I like to do this, not because I had to deal with those things in life, but because it made me stronger. And it's what I enjoy to learn to do, to take care of myself, defend myself. It makes me more confident.
It does. It really does. And I mean, not joking, but it's going to come off a little funny. But if you can take a punch from a grown ass woman as a child, that really, it makes you, it sets you apart. It makes you not afraid of anything, really, know, because I know there's a lot of us that went through that got beat like that when we were kids. And you're just like, fuck, if I can handle that, there's nobody that can step in that cage that can really hurt me,
It's true. And like, I even joke with a lot of my teammates sometimes, like, people I'm close with, that is, because I can joke about it now. Then I was hurt, I had a little rough, getting through that time. But now I'm like, the first bloody nose I had was from my mom. Like, I haven't had bloody nose until now, and since then. So I was like, it's kind of crazy, but it's true.
I mean, it really is. It really is. So, you touched on this a bit. This question right here, you touched on that a bit. What is your ultimate goal for fighting in the future? You mentioned going pro. Do you have a very specific road you're trying to travel with that, or just training and fighting, getting your name out there? What are you?
I'd
What's
say
the plan?
there's no specific goal.
Hmm.
My dream and thoughts is LFA, UFC, big promotions that I would
Yeah.
like to eventually move up to. I'll see who would want to sign me once I do. Sorry, my lighting went off, so it's a little different. But
Yeah.
so I want to see kind of like where I can go, because I know there's going to be multiple things that I'm going to be capable of and multiple people that may want to sign me, whatever that may be. So hopefully, I can make it to the top somehow. That
Okay.
is the
Yeah.
ultimate thing that I would love to do.
And I mean, honestly, you're young and you're improving at a very solid rate. So I don't see why it's not attainable.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. Your third fight, Madam Satan, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
By then, how were the nerves before the fight? They still.
I'd say they were still there, but this fight in particular, it's not that I had any beef with Madam Satan. I still, like her today. It was more of like I felt insulted.
Why is that? What happened? Let's hear all about that.
Okay, we'll bring that up here. It was mostly because at a lot of the events, once I became, known through the yard, whatever, she was there with her boyfriend, Big Smile. I'm sure a lot of people know who that is.
Oh, I love Big Smile.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's so cool.
I really love him. He's a great person. But she would come with him, and she would always ask me to spar. And I was like, oh, sure, let's do it. And so there was a day that we sparred, and she went really hard. And I wasn't expecting it because I was like just trying to go light,
well, it's
hanging
sparring.
out,
Yeah,
whatever. She was going like knocking my head off type of sparring. So I was like, okay, I can do that too. So we start going hard.
Yeah.
And people in the yard that I know, my friends, they were like, why don't y'all just get in the cage? Like, damn. So I was like, oh, man.
What? So did it happen that day? Did you guys show up to just an event and you were sparring and then it turned into a fucking fight?
It was more of like I felt a little bit of tension. Like as we were putting our stuff back in our bags, we were like, I was like, you didn't have to go that hard. Like I was going light. And she was like, I just went what you were doing. Like, so then we were like, well, you want to fight?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. And did it happen that day?
No, it happened.
Oh, okay.
So we decided we were going to do it that day. Like we were like, all right, you want to fight now? Yes, let's fight.
Okay. Yeah.
And so then messages were given of like, when do we want to fight? Blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff. And so then it was planned. And then we showed up and fought like a month or so later.
Dude, that's so funny. Okay. And how did that one go?
It went really well in my favor, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
I was very happy about that fight, mostly because I guess the reason I felt insulted is because I think she doubted me for my size and just overall I felt doubted. And that to me was a no. Like I was like, that's not happening. I'm going to make, I'm going to show her what I'm actually about, which is what I tried to do in that fight. I tried to show her that I do have power and she can't take me down, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was great.
I totally get that. Like it something about somebody that looks at you and is like, I can beat this person up. That's like, well, hold on. Yeah. Well, depending on the person. Like some people I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, anybody, there's so many people that are out there that could take you out. It just depends, what you do about it.
Exactly. So Tiger Shark.
Yes, Tiger Shark was, I think, that's where I've had about the most training with her. Yeah. So that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I felt, I think, a lot of power in that fight. Like, I felt like I did really well.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what round you took her out in, though.
It was the first round.
The first round, yeah. Yeah, that was it was punches, right? You punches?
Yeah, it was. I think I clocked her with a straight, and
Hmm.
you just saw her head, and then all of a sudden she fell. But the weirdest thing was, with me personally, when I fight, I think I just have like a killer mentality thing of like I'm gonna like eat until I'm taken
Until they
off the
stop you.
person,
Yeah, until they
which is
take the
what I
plate away.
felt. And I think a lot of people didn't like that because they were like, "Oh, she hit her when she was on the ground." I was like, "Well, I wasn't stopped.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen. She could have came
Yeah.
back up."
And honestly, in fights in cages under promotion, sanctioned fights, that happens all the time. Like they get those couple hits in just to be on the safe side. And I get it. But yeah, so Sunshine just posted a comment here. I can't wait for her fight on A Train Promotion. Tell us about
Yeah,
that, because we know who A Train is, and I heard he started a promotion, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't know what that may be. I don't know if it's called something different. Maybe she's talking about the Cali event. I don't know. I do have a fight coming up April 2nd, so she might be talking about that because
Okay,
it's
yeah.
for my
So,
amateur debut.
all right, where's that going to be at?
That's going to be in Ruther Glen, Virginia. I don't know what the promotion. Excuse me. I don't know what the promotion is called. I do have like the picture. I've posted it, but it will definitely. I'm looking for that to be a
Hmm.
banger.
Where did you hear? Where did you hear about that fight from?
That was from my coach Lee. So we have a fight group page and
Mhm.
messenger thing, and so we always talk about the fights that are upcoming, the promotions we may want to fight in, and we kind of go from there. They'll post it and ask who wants to fight in and which ones.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah. So A Train is a fighter in Virginia. Do you know A Train?
I don't think so. Maybe if I saw a picture. I'm not a person that
Yeah.
remembers names. It does sound familiar though.
Yeah. He fights in the OG yard. He fought one of our guys when we went out there and invaded the East Coast. And
Oh.
yeah, from what I'm told, he has a amateur MMA background, and he fired up a promotion for that. So I wonder
Maybe
if,
that's it then.
yes,
I'll have to find that
Sunshine.
out.
Yeah, Sunshine, fill us in right there, buddy. I'm sure Sunshine knows. She knows
That's
pretty much everything.
interesting.
So, yeah, your main goal is to end up going pro here. You have
Yes.
your first sanctioned debut, your amateur debut. Do you know who your opponent is?
It's actually going to be someone from Streetbeefs. I think she's fought once. Her name is Kung Fu Q, if I'm correct. I may be wrong, so I'm so sorry if I
Hmm.
demolish that. But
I'm gonna look that up right now because I do not know who it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm not sure if I demolished that or not. Hopefully not.
uh yeah, I don't see
I'm
anybody. I
trying to
see
search
Kung Fu Lu, but he's a
Q. It's
yeah.
Q, possibly.
Yeah. I might have to do a little research there. So yeah. How does your family feel about your fighting? How does everybody feel about it?
So my dad's not really in my life, so he probably, well, I know that he doesn't like it. He definitely hates it. But I know that my mom originally despised it. She thought it was
Yeah.
the worst possible thing I could have did. Like she thought I was crazy. Um
Moms do that when you jump in a ring.
Yeah, I think it was most of my family didn't like it, but I was not going to let that deter me. So
Mhm.
I basically thought, I'm going to keep doing this, whether they like it or not, because it's what I love to do. And so that's kind of what I did. And now they have, I think, grown respect for that.
Mhm.
And they've just accepted it. And my mom came to my last fight actually at the fairgrounds because I had a smoker under Outlaw Fight League. And so my mom came and she cheered me on, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It felt good.
I'm assuming she has gotten past her alcoholism.
No, she still hasn't. She's still pretty
Okay.
bad about that. Me and my brother deal with that a lot. My brother's 14, so she had him when I was a little bit older.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he lives with her. So he's kind of knowing what I went through
he
a
knows
little
exactly
bit.
what you
Like,
went through.
she's not as bad with, she doesn't do the beating thing. She still does a lot of the abusive stuff, though. Definitely. Oh, yeah.
So we should expect to see him in Streetbeefs here soon.
It's funny. He does train with me sometimes.
That's so dope. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty tough guy. I'll tell you that.
No. You got a comment here. Looks like you got a Lights Out CJ's your biggest fan.
Oh, nice.
Do you know who
exciting.
That is? Do you know who that is?
No, I do not.
No, neither do I. Like, that's the coolest part about this is you have a legitimate biggest fan.
Sorry, I'm trying to plug my phone in. I do get a lot of people that comment to me on my Instagram and tell me how much they love watching me, and it really makes my day, honestly, because I don't do this just for myself. I love to do this. It's what I will continue doing, but to hear the people that enjoy me doing it is really good. Like, it makes me feel great.
That it's weird though, like when people run up in your DMs and tell you how much they appreciate you and what you're doing. I don't know how to handle it. It doesn't happen a whole bunch to me, but it's happened a couple times, and it's just like, this is nuts. You got, how far are you coming to take your fighting career? Are you trying to go pro? Fierce Honey versus Amanda Nunez.
Woo! I don't know if I want to take her bangers just yet, guys. Don't throw me in that cage with her.
I wouldn't fight that woman. I wouldn't fight her. No,
thank you. But I do strive to be like her. She is a beast.
Yeah, she's an animal. Absolutely.
She's amazing.
Yeah, it's nuts how good she is. But I mean, you absolutely have potential. You have a lot of potential. So just keep those punches straight and be calm in there, and you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
What's your future with your pro? We've talked about. You want to go pro. How about your Streetbeefs career? Are you going to continue fighting for Streetbeefs?
I do plan to do that, but not when I'm pro, obviously, because I don't think that's allowed.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that I'll continue that until I go pro, because I do respect Streetbeefs, and Chris Wilmore is like my whole heart. Like, I love him to death. He is so amazing. He's been a great coach. My teammates are amazing, so it's pretty awesome.
Who is Chris Wilmore? We know face, but we don't know no Chris Wilmore. We know face.
I know, that is true. You guys call him by face.
Over here using his government name on the live and shit. You can't use that man's Christian name up here. It's face. So yeah, Lights Out. He's a scrapyard fighter. I know who he is now. I know who he is, but there's like 6 Lights Out people. There's several Lights Out, but they all have kind of different names, but Lights Out is in the name. So yeah, they're
nice. Thank you.
Yeah, he's pretty slick. So your future with Streetbeefs is pretty much incumbent on your professional career.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. Are you going to try to find a few more fights before you slip into a full amateur career, or are you just going to jump balls deep into being an AMI? Okay.
Yeah, definitely, because I really want to get as much experience as possible. I really want to try different opponents, different styles, really do a lot of anything I can do to get myself ready for that level. Because it is levels.
There's definitely levels to this. Definitely levels to this. Have you thought about doing the BLK boxing, the BLK Prime boxing?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of crazy you ask, because I recently accepted to fight on BLK Prime.
Ooh, who's your opponent?
Honey, go to bed, please. I need to go poo. Well, then go to the bathroom.
She just said, I need to go poop.
Moment of my life.
Yes, that's so dope. Oh, that's awesome.
But yes, I do plan to fight in Cali in May.
Okay, and I couldn't remember the poop comment. I forgot everything you just said. So do you have an opponent for that?
I don't know. I think that Sunshine is planning all of that stuff. So I don't know what exactly that's gonna look like.
Sunshine, you still in here? Because I know I had heard a couple small bits of talk about you potentially fighting. Yeah, Sunshine, is that with Jade? I know you guys were talking a little bit. There was a girl I interviewed, Jade, I was telling you about, and she was looking to get a fight, and I can't remember what weight class both of you were in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it
I
right there. Yep.
definitely looked at her page
Bang,
and stuff.
bang. Yeah, Sunshine said, Jade, yes. I love it. Like that would be a fucking banger.
I
Jade,
think so too. I'm
yeah,
excited. She
she's
looks
nice.
legit.
She is legit, and you are legit. So that would be an absolute banger. And Sunshine said 135 pounds, something like that. Yeah. And you are, would you say you walk around at?
So when I'm not preparing for a fight, I'm usually about, say, 150.
Mm-hmm. So you'll drop down to 135? Can you
I'll
make
usually
135?
cut down.
Yeah, I do not cut anymore. Fuck that. That shit's so annoying. Oh,
It's
there it
terrible.
is. There it is. The comment we've all been waiting for.
Oh my.
Yeah, Free Smoke love him some Jade. And it looks like Jimmy Fit love him some Fierce Honey. So yep. If you don't know Jimmy Fit, you just keep watching the Streetbeefs West Coast page. I'm sure he'll pop up with, half his clothes on at some point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't even be mad at him. Homie's in phenomenal shape. Like if I was in that good of shape, I'd just walk around in Speedo all the time. Like he's in amazing shape. Yeah, good for him.
Impressive.
Right? And then my next opponent is there it is. I fight Golden Arms at the end of this month. Yep.
What?
So yeah, fighting for the light heavyweight title. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yep, it's gonna be a real solid 45-second fight. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Lights Out would like to know, what have you learned from Streetbeefs, honey? I'm not sure if he's calling you honey.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Just gives them the free open to, I guess, do that.
Yeah.
But to answer that question, I've recently learned, like, the guns down, gloves up's always been, big to me anyways. Like when I first started, I obviously had never dealt with anything to that extent as to what I would, see to know what that means, but obviously you know what it means. There's a lot of gun violence and things that shouldn't be happening, but there's a huge thing that recently happened to my family that was like a huge, like, wow, this is really what that means, and this is what it can do, and it made me fall in love with Streetbeefs that much more because, gun violence is crazy. Like it can just take a life, like that, and then the person's gone. So yeah, I think from Streetbeefs, I've learned that, to be there for each other, to be a family, and to be there for one another throughout life, because you never know what anybody's going through. You never know what someone is going through in their day-to-day lives. When they come in for training, they may say one thing, but you don't know what's happening outside of that. So it's really taught me a lot about family.
That's good. That's a phenomenal answer to that question. I don't even know if I'd have an answer for that question. Like it's Streetbeefs West Coast specifically is family, but I don't know that I've been taught anything. But I'm old, super old. So
yeah, it taught me a lot. It was amazing.
I have gotten more heart eye comments on this live than I've gotten so far. It's so dope. So dope. Yep. That's dope. But yeah, last question. You can fight anybody you want. Who would it be? Who do you are just dying to have in that ring against you?
This is a hard answer because there's not many females. I don't know of many females. I'd say my used to be answer was Deuce until that got a little bit frictiony.
What do you mean? Until it got a little frictiony?
I think she's with like a specific group of people or something that Streetbeefs isn't really connected with anymore. So I don't know if that can ever be a thing, for us to fight again. Maybe in an actual, like, promotion.
Yeah.
Or like sanction event. That
are you talking
would be
about
amazing
cornflake
to run
people?
that back.
Are you talking about cornflakes people?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because I
Did you wipe
haven't.
yourself, baby? I'm gonna wipe myself. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, go. Sometimes you got to go wipe some ass. It is what it is. I do not forget those. Like I don't want to relive those days, man. I got a vasectomy for a fucking reason. I ain't wiping nobody's ass but mine. Oh, kids are 16. I gotta drive them all over the place, but I ain't wiping no more asses. They can wipe mine in like 20 years. I'm too old to do it myself. Yeah. What we got right here? What UFC do you think you would have to go against for a title in the UFC? Who do you think you'll have to go against, in your opinion?
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, that would be Deuce. I would say would be my answer, because that was like my only loss I've had, so it was pretty hard to fight.
Yeah, that was. I mean, for a second, Deuce is not somebody you fight for your second fight. To be honest with you, like if you guys like legitimately rematched now, I mean, I think you'd be definitely more prepared for it now. But Deuce is not. She ain't somebody you just jump in there with on your second fight, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely.
Lights out got a question, and then we're gonna wrap up. What UFC fighter do you think you would have to go against for a title in the UFC? So let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say you went to the UFC. First of all, what weight class are you fighting in at that?
I want to fight in 135 because that's where I naturally want to be at anyways. Maybe have to cut down a little bit, but I was there before I had my child. So I'm only cutting more and more fat out as I continue, training. I've noticed my weight go down tremendously. So I would like to stay in 135.
Okay. I've never had a baby, but I've seen it can take a lot. It's vicious on a body. It's even vicious if you're the dude sometimes. Like Real Lion just had a baby and he gained a bunch of weight. Okay, just sitting around watching her make babies.
I noticed that. I won't lie.
Look at this. Valentina versus Honey. Valentina is 135, isn't she?
Valentina is a no. She's way ahead of me.
Yo, yeah, she's way ahead of everybody. Actually, she's the champ.
There's a girl that is super skilled, and I hope that someday we may cross paths in that pro division. So she may be someone I would cross paths with to enter the UFC or whatever I'm fighting on.
Huh. Let me see.
It's just people I see on Instagram and stuff. So it's people I talk to, and I'm like, man, I would love to go against them.
Yeah. There's a lot of Valentina's 125. He said
she's amazing.
Yeah, she is. She's insane. Like her accuracy and her precision is off the charts.
It's amazing.
Who's a 130? I wonder who the 135 champ is. Like, let's really put this into perspective.
Let's do it.
Women's 135 UFC champ. Let's see. Pena. Oh, that's who just beat Amanda Nunes. So Amanda Nunes is 135. I thought she was heavier than that.
Wow.
Yeah, Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm, Irene Aldana, Aspen Ladd. That'd be a dope. Misha Tate. I didn't even know she was still. Is she still fighting? I don't know, but like that's your division right there. That's your UFC division right there. Yeah.
I have a lot to live up to. Looking forward to it. Yeah. That's a
just. I mean, if you even make it to the UFC, you're a top fighter. Period. Even the guys who just get murked in the UFC are still.
No, I would even love to go on Ultimate Fighter or something.
Yeah, just to be on the show.
Yeah.
Like I'd be happy just carrying water to those people on the show. Like I wouldn't even need to fight anybody. I'd just be like, hey guys. Yeah. So yeah, she said Free Smoke said Misha just came back. I didn't even know that. So well, madam, it's been an absolute pleasure. We should definitely schedule this again once you go pro and you're super famous. So yeah.
True that. We will. We definitely will.
Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate everybody watching, man. You guys are awesome. And lights out. We gonna see you and all your people up there in Scrapyard here pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope to meet
Yeah.
all you people commenting. I haven't met really much people, but hopefully I can make it to an event and meet some of you. Oh my lord.
Yep. Yep.
But
That's
I wanted to
that's
tell you
619.
guys, follow my Instagram. It's FHoneyMMA. So you guys can kind of check out a little bit of what I post. I'm starting a YouTube soon, so you'll see a lot more of me.
Yeah. Yep. He just commented that right when you're saying, what was it gonna F Honey?
FHoneyMMA.
Yeah, that stands for fierce honey.
Yep, sure does.
All right, the F got a weird connotation sometimes. All right, you guys have a good night, fierce honey. Thank you, I appreciate having you on.
Yeah, thank you. You have a great night.
All right, buddy. Bye. So, yeah, everybody, we have a couple more shows coming up. Nothing too crazy. I got Demon Monsoon on the 20th. I got Bricks coming up, and then a few other people I've been talking to. So, we'll take a break here for a couple weeks. I really need to focus on getting ready for this logistics for this next event. So, you guys keep it real, man. I'm gonna holler at everybody later.